Welcome back to the deep dive. Sometimes the most profound insights, they don't come from a textbook or some fancy seminar. They often just pop up when you least expect them, like, say, right in the middle of a travel snafu.
Hmm.
Today, we're doing a deep dive into a really interesting piece, the key to success. Lessons from a broken taxi ride in Key West. It's from Fasioli Publishing. Now, it sounds simple, right? A taxi ride. But our mission today is to peel back those layers. We want to find the powerful, actionable wisdom hidden in this seemingly ordinary experience. Wisdom about problem solving, about building things, maybe even about raising a family.
Exactly. And we're going to see how something that feels like just a minor inconvenience, well, it can actually shine a light on some core principles for success, for wealth creation, and honestly, just navigating life with a bit more clarity. This deep dive, I think, will really challenge that whole idea that perfection has to be the goal. Instead, it shows why sometimes just, showing up and taking action, that might be your most valuable asset.
Okay, let's set the scene. Picture this. You've just landed at Key West International Airport. You are wiped out, totally exhausted from the trip, but you've got that buzz, right?
Yeah.
Excited for that tropical escape you've been dreaming about. So you walk out of the terminal all ready to grab your pre-booked rental car, and then it hits you. That stomach-dropping moment when you realize you completely missed a crucial step. No rental car, nothing booked, you're just stranded.
Oh, yeah. Been there. Not fun.
Not fun at all. So as you're standing there kind of frantically cycling through your options, which are dwindling fast, this old taxi pulls up. And let me tell you, this was not the sleek, air-conditioned ride you imagined for your tropical paradise vacation. No. The account describes it really vividly.
Yeah.
It's an older model car, side mirror shattered, just gone. The dashboard is lit up like a Christmas tree with warning lights just glaring.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and the exhaust pipe is making this sort of rattling noise that doesn't exactly inspire confidence.
Yeah.
And to top it all off, the driver only spoke French. So immediate communication barrier. It was, frankly, a bit of a mess.
Wow, okay. But what's fascinating here, and the author really points this out, is despite all those obvious flaws, I mean, the broken mirror, the warning lights, the language barrier, all of it, this imperfect taxi did exactly what was needed in that moment. It, quote, got me where I needed to go. And that simple, flawed service, it immediately brings up these profound truths about, well, functionality just crushing aesthetics sometimes. It didn't have to look good, it just had to work.
And that bumpy, rattling ride, it really brought home a fundamental lesson for the author. Lesson one, basically, meeting the need trumps perfection. Like you said, that car was far from perfect. It was kind of a disaster, really. But in that moment, when the need was urgent, it did the job. It provided transportation.
Yeah.
And this story, it really makes you think about how often we, or maybe our customers, get fixated on demanding this, ideal standard.
You're perfect.
But what people truly value, but
Right.
they'll actually pay for. It's utility, it's reliability. Does it work?
Yeah, and what's often overlooked, I think, even by companies trying to do the right thing, is that success isn't really built on being flawless. It's built on effectively solving a pressing problem for someone. Think about some of the big tech companies out there. They often launch with what they call an MVP, a minimum viable product.
Like the MVP.
It's basically the simplest version that still solves the core problem. It might be buggy, it might lack polish, but its usefulness, its core function, just outweighs those initial aesthetic issues. Then they build on it, refine it over time.
And you can totally see this in everyday life, too. Like, think about helping your kid with homework. If they're stuck on a math problem or maybe going through something tough personally, they don't need you to give some perfect rehearsed speech or have the absolute perfect solution figured out beforehand. Often, they just need you to show up, to be there, to help them take the next step, even if you're kind of fumbling through it yourself. That authenticity, just being there and helping imperfectly, that's often way more powerful than waiting until you think you have the perfect answer.
Authenticity, exactly.
So that taxi experience also highlighted another key point. Simplicity wins. Think about it. Despite the chaos of the broken car and the language barrier, the driver just stayed focused, laser focused, get the passenger to the destination. That was it. He didn't try to upsell, didn't complicate things with extra stuff or chatter he couldn't manage anyway. That straightforward approach just cut through all the noise.
It really raises an important question, doesn't it, about Our tendency, maybe as humans, to overcomplicate things. In business, we pile on features thinking, oh, more is more value.
Yeah, feature creep.
Exactly. And in life, maybe we elaborate on tasks until they feel totally overwhelming. But the reality is often that a simple, straightforward solution, delivered clearly and crucially on time, that can make all the difference. Complexity can kind of paralyze people, whereas simplicity, it often invites you in, it makes things easier.
Totally agree. And in parenting, sometimes we try way too hard, engineering these elaborate family trips or these perfect grand gestures. But honestly, a simple, hey, I'm here for you. We're just sitting down and sharing a quiet meal that can build a much deeper connection with a kid who just needs some reassurance. Way more than some meticulously planned whirlwind vacation sometimes.
So true.
And for entrepreneurs, that quest for perfection often leads to just delay. Endless delays. Launching with clarity, ease of use, offering a simple, direct solution, those are much better allies than trying to over-engineer everything from the start.
Absolutely. Get it out there.
Which brings us to the third big lesson from that Key West taxi. People pay for convenience. The author points out payment wasn't for luxury. I mean, obviously not.
Clearly not.
It was for solving an immediate problem at exactly the right moment, when they were stuck. And that just highlights how incredibly powerful convenience is as a motivator.
The value there isn't just the thing itself, the product or the service. It's the ease it brings. It's the friction it removes from someone's life. When something simplifies your task or saves you crucial time, especially when you're in a tight spot, that's where people see real value. And that's exactly what they're willing to pay a premium for, often.
Think about it in your own life. Why do we grab takeout on a crazy busy night? Or subscribe to those meal delivery kits? It's not just the food, it's the sheer convenience, right? Skipping the cooking, skipping the cleanup.
Saves so much time and hassle.
Exactly. And in business, look at services like Amazon Prime or Uber. They didn't invent package delivery or rides. What they did was make them incredibly convenient, super available. They succeed because they simplify our lives by being there right when we need them, instantly.
That availability is key.
Which leads perfectly into our fourth insight. Resourcefulness and availability matter. Okay, so the driver didn't have the best car, not even close, and he couldn't communicate easily in English, but he showed up. He was there. He was available when someone needed a ride. And this story really underscores that being present, being resourceful, just making do with what you have, that often matters more than having the absolute best tools or, perfect conditions.
That's such a critical insight. You really don't need all the answers or every single resource perfectly lined up before you can make an impact. Sometimes, honestly, the most important thing is just being there, putting in your best effort with whatever you do have available. That willingness to just step up and try, even when your resources are limited, that often distinguishes the people and businesses that succeed.
Yeah, and for parents, this is like a huge weight off the shoulders, maybe. You're not expected to have all the answers for every single question or problem your kid brings you. It's impossible.
Absolutely impossible.
But just being present, being available to listen, doing your best with what you know, maybe even figuring things out with them. That's what they truly need. That models resilience. I mean, think about Airbnb's origin story. They started, famously, with air mattresses on their floor.
Right, air, bed, and breakfast.
Exactly. They didn't have a global hotel network. They used what they had: spare room, air mattresses. They were available to people looking for a cheaper place to stay. And they built a massive empire on that basic resourcefulness, being there with what they had.
Incredible story. And it fits perfectly.
Okay, so our fifth and final core lesson from this memorable Key West experience is about trusting in functionality. Despite every single apparent flaw, the rattle, the lights, the mirror, the taxi worked. It did its core job. It performed its function.
Yeah.
And this story is just a profound reminder that ultimately people prioritize results, tangible outcomes. They value that over polished appearances, especially when the need is urgent.
And if we connect that to the bigger picture, it really highlights why just getting the job done reliably effectively matters so much more than just, slick presentation. A beautiful solution that doesn't actually deliver, it's worthless in the end. But a humble solution, maybe not pretty, but one that consistently does what it's supposed to do, that becomes invaluable. People trust it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Think about it day to day, like you're making dinner for the family or helping a friend move house. The real focus should be on getting the task done successfully, right? Not necessarily making it look like something out of a magazine.
Yeah.
The result, a fed family, moved friend, that inherently matters more than how perfect it looked along the way.
Right.
And in the business world, you see this with products like super durable work boots or those old reliable kitchen appliances people swear by for decades. They might not be the trendiest or the most beautiful things, but they earn this incredible loyalty because they just work. They function as promised reliably day after day.
That trust is built on performance.
Okay, so let's unpack this a bit more now. How do these, seemingly simple lessons from an old taxi ride in Key West, how do they actually apply to the big stuff? Like building wealth or launching a new business or really excelling in your career?
Well, the source does a great job of synthesizing these into some really actionable principles. Let's run through them. First, launch imperfectly. Seriously, don't fall into that analysis paralysis trap, waiting for everything to be absolutely perfect. Start with what you've got, iterate, refine as you learn, and get feedback. So many successful companies started as that basic MVP, right?
The minimum viable product again.
Yeah, solving one core problem first, then building out. Second, solve urgent problems. People consistently, willingly pay for solutions to their immediate needs, their pressing problems, even if the solution isn't, 100% polished.
If the pain point is high enough.
Exactly. Third, be available. Just showing up, whether it's for new opportunities for your clients, your customers, even for your family. That consistency of being present, it sets you apart. Fourth, focus on core needs. Resist that temptation to get distracted by all the shiny objects, the bells and whistles, the unnecessary complexities. Focus your energy on delivering what actually truly matters to solve the problem.
Keep it simple.
Which leads to the last one, leverage simplicity. Complexity, it often pushes people away, confuses them. Simplicity and clarity, they attract people, they empower them.
Okay, this is where I think it gets really interesting, especially for any parents listening. Because we often strive for this elusive idea of perfection in parenting, don't we?
Yeah.
The perfect family vacation photo, the perfect Instagram-worthy birthday party.
Oh, yeah. The pressure is real.
Or feeling like we need to have the perfect, wise advice ready for every single question our kids throw at us.
But the really profound takeaway here, I think, echoing the taxi story, is that perfection, that's not actually what kids need from us. What they need, fundamentally, is for their parents to just be there, imperfectly, resourcefully, consistently present. That actually models resilience and realistic problem solving in a way that some idealized perfect scenario never could.
It really brings it right back to that taxi driver, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Being available, showing up, addressing the core need right then and there, whether that's help with homework or just being a shoulder to cry on or, getting them to soccer practice on time in whatever car you've got. That matters so much more than having the perfect response rehearsed or the perfect, pristine presentation. Your willingness to just engage, even when you feel like you don't have all the answers. That teaches them such a powerful lesson about just trying, about connection, about getting through things.
It's about presence over perfection.
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, the main message, the overarching theme, it seems strikingly clear. Utility, timing, and just genuine resourcefulness.
Yeah.
They consistently beat the pursuit of some often unattainable idea of perfection.
Yeah, the world, essentially, it rewards people who take action, people who show up, people who solve problems, even if they're doing it, with a metaphorical broken mirror and a rattling exhaust pipe. If we connect this to the bigger picture again, it's really about choosing progress, choosing action, over getting paralyzed by the fear of not being perfect.
So maybe the question to leave you with is,
Yeah.
what's stopping you from getting started today? And what's your version of that broken taxi, that imperfect, maybe slightly messy, but perfectly functional solution that's just waiting for you to put it to work?
Yeah.
Maybe it's time we all learn to appreciate the incredible value of imperfection and the really liberating power of just getting things done.